Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the College Stick. I am Bree. This is Ben. This is going to be a unique episode today, for lack of a better term. We're actually calling this Raw and Uncut. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, postseason.
Let's go. All right, so one of the reasons that we started this channel was, we had two main reasons that we started this channel. One of them, well, we kept watching. We watch all these meets. One of the reasons that we saw was the scoring issue with Ellie Peterson in the beginning on the bars. She clearly hit her feet on the ground, and the judges didn't see it or whatever. And we're like, well, where's this consistency with scoring, right? And you guys have heard us talk about issues with judging and scoring and why they're not more transparent. Okay, so we're like, well, what's going on with that? Then another reason that we started it was because we love Kentucky. Uh, we love their volleyball team too, whatever. Um, but we were really upset at the coaching decisions because we realized that Sharon Lee had the yips. She had the yips.
Not the twisties.
No such thing. Okay, so she, the whole year, she could not stay on the beam. She couldn't. And we've talked about this multiple times together, at least. Is that a coaching decision error, athlete decision error, or a little bit of both? Because in my opinion, if I were the coach, I would have taken out Sharon Lee a long time ago, personally, because that is not good for the rest of the team. It screws everybody else up psychologically. What do you think?
Well, yeah, and I'm not one to criticize because I can't even stand on a beam, let alone do any kind of you know a performance on the beam, if you will. But yeah, I think Sharon Lee, she's had really good routines over the season. Very very good routines. She has been able to stay on the beam, just not consistently. And so yeah, we were kind of talking about is this, hey, if you can't perform a triple series element on the beam, do you continue to do it and fall off the beam, or do you alter your routine a little bit? Uh, yeah, and do a double series, right? So there's that going on. But also, if she continues to fall off the beam and she doesn't have that confidence, why do we keep putting her back up there? Especially when there are other athletes that you can put in your beam lineup. So, yeah, it's a little mind boggling in my opinion.
I don't know what good routines you saw by her this year, but I didn't see any, and that was really nice of you to say. But even when she stayed on the beam the two times that she stayed on the beam, she still bobbled. So yeah, I agree. If you can't do the triple series, do the double. Do it for your team. Don't go hard and aggressive and whatever, and then not be able to do it because she hasn't been able to all year. So that's my
Well,
opinion.
yeah, and they put her, what was it, like second or third in the lineup in the postseason, and yeah, I mean, she ended up falling off, and then the very next athlete, which was
Chesney Bennett.
Chesney Bennett, she ended up falling off too because you got all that pressure on the follow-on athletes. So if you must put her on the beam because there's no other athlete that's showing any kind of talent on the beam, put her at the end, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, and then that would she'd be the anchor too. So you just I
Yeah.
take her out of the lineup. You got Sabrina as a new freshman this year. She could do it. Like put her in there. She was hungry. So, but poor Sharon Lee. We don't want to keep just harping about her, but that was one of the things that made us start the channel was what is Tim Garrison doing? So
Yeah. And unfortunately that bit him in the postseason too. So
big time. So anyway, Um, we also wanted to talk, if since we're talking about beam as well, when we are at the finals, we're wondering why Florida changed their beam lineup the day of the finals. We don't understand
no.
because you're used to a certain, it's psychology again. You're used to a certain routine. You're used to following the same person all the time. Alyssa Arano was used to following, right, MJ. Skylar's always first, MJ. And then you had Alyssa. Well, Alyssa just completely threw it away because she was the anchor. There was a different type of pressure on her. Why was that coaching decision to change the lineup on the day of the finals?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, like Oklahoma, they were in a position where they had to make changes because of the Feta injury. So that makes sense, making those kinds of lineup changes. Yeah, and I know they practice all week, or they practice, the 2 weeks leading up to the finals or whatnot, and so I know they see things in practice that may be completely different than what's happening in competition. So I understand that there's another aspect to their decisions that they're making, but yeah, I don't know if you've been doing it this way the whole season. Why did you pick the finals to make the change? I don't know. I don't get that either.
Well, and speaking of the finals as well, another topic we wanted to touch today. We have a lot of topics, but we're only going to be able to hit a couple this episode. People were complaining about Minnesota not getting enough airtime at the finals.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Okay, let's recap here. Semifinals, any kind of quad, anything like that, where there's the final rotation, they're only focusing really on the top two teams. That is just what it is. That is why ESPN and NCAA, whoever decided to do this, decided to do dedicated channels to the teams so you could see every routine. And if you notice in the broadcast at approximately 41 minutes and 20 seconds, John Roethlisberger says as much and says you can watch every routine on these broadcasts. You had Bridget there broadcasting, you had Kennedy, Anastasia, right? And you had, well, I don't know if Trinity was there too, but you had them commentating. Those are specialists that they've been doing that all year, and they were dedicated to those teams. So shut up. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, like, not to take anything away from Minnesota. Minnesota had an amazing season. But just because you earn a spot in the four on the floor doesn't mean you earn equal coverage and equal airtime. You earn that during the meet, right? And so when you go into the last rotation and you have no chance of winning, and you got two teams that are extraordinarily close, less than 1/10, right? Of course they're going to show those two teams. Of course you're not going to get to see. I mean, we didn't see a lot of Florida routines in that last rotation
I
either,
didn't
right?
get to see
So
Anya, and I love Anya. There were, I wrote a couple down. Of course, I don't have it in front of me. Wrote a couple down. We didn't get to see a few Florida routines, and they're one of our favorites. And so, but we're not bitching about that. We get it. We understand why. And if we want to watch those routines, there's a different broadcast for it.
yeah, yep,
Do you
exactly.
remember what
Yeah,
happened with Stanford in the semifinals? They just basically stopped showing them at all because they were so far behind. I didn't hear anybody from Stanford complaining about that. It is what it is. That's just how it works. You earn your spot on TV.
yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. I was actually a little bit surprised, but
Anything else you wanted to cover today, or I mean, this whole episode's bitches, gripes, and complaints.
yeah. Yeah, and well, the one other thing too is just the schedule of the finals. Right? We had, what was it, two meets on Thursday, the day off on Friday, and then the finals on Saturday, right? But the first meet on Thursday was, what was it, like 3:30 Central Time or something like that. So I mean, you could see that the stands weren't as full as they were on the four on the floor, and I mean, people got to like take off of work just to watch these performances. So you're not going to get
Which I did.
or there, there you go, right? And so, yeah, I don't understand the scheduling of a lot of this, because it just seems way off. Like, if you're trying to get people to watch, get this stuff on prime time, and if you're worried about having that one day of rest or whatever, well then I don't know, do it. A team on Thursday night. A meet on Friday night, give them Saturday off, and then go Sunday afternoon. Whatever it takes, right? But like, yeah, it was a little disappointing. I didn't see the numbers on the viewership at all, but you could see in the stands, you can clearly see that there weren't as many people there on Thursday at the 3:30 meet than there was Thursday night or on Saturday at the finals. So I don't know. Those things kind of blow my mind as well. So
Yeah, I agree. Well, we have some more topics that we'd like to talk about in the coming episodes. So stay tuned for them. We're definitely going to talk a lot about the transfer portal, who went where and whatnot. We're going to talk about some of our annoyances with mats, right? We like to talk about mats. Uh, yeah, coaches doing weird things
and a lot of news.
and a lot of news,
A lot of news to
like
catch up on.
like
Transfer portal.
Lily. I already said transfer portal.
Oh,
But what about Lily? How's she doing?
oh yeah, Lily Smith.
So
Yeah.
anyway, well, I think that's it for today. You got anything else?
No.
All right. Well, then we will see you all next time.